And hello everybody, my name is NikoTheLegend, also known as the well-mannered teenager, the snowflake, rambling idiot, and Vigil. And today we're talking about how Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the Aftermath, fans are reappraising Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, it's going to be one of those videos to where we kind of do a nice little study of why people are praising Mass Effect Andromeda. I think it's just a case of we're just jonesing for more. We just haven't had enough. We had our fill of great Mass Effect trilogy action, and then people are so desperate to see what's next on the storyline. They're like, okay, what's the so-called next best thing, which you could even call the next best thing, is Mass Effect Andromeda. So before we get into this article, folks, hi, my name is NikoTheLegend, also known as the one-manner teenager. That's right, I said it again. But why not? So if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. All right, guys, Mass Effect Legendary Edition has been out for 1 month. Correct? Okay, correct. And many of you are really excited, or still having a great time of playing the Legendary Edition over and over and over again, reliving those glory days of when BioWare was really at its peak in storytelling, for the most part, okay, 90% for the most part. And then eventually we got to Mass Effect Andromeda, which really did not show the best of BioWare. Many of you would consider this would be the worst of BioWare, along with Anthem. And if many of you do not know the development for Andromeda and Anthem, I'll just tell you the short story of it. It was hell on earth for BioWare. Nothing went in their favor, really, honestly. I mean, if you can list one thing that went in their favor, let me know. Maybe the continuation of Mass Effect series, which put it on ice afterwards because it did so poorly. But I digress. So, I think so I just want to go into why people are probably playing Mass Effect Andromeda. I did list it before. It's because people want to play more Mass Effect. They've got the trilogy done. We got our fill, and it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And unfortunately, somebody is following me on stream? Okay. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. That was really random. I was not expecting that. I'm going to keep that in, by the way. Sorry. Okay. Unfortunately, yes. The supposed continuation of the story, which obviously, if you played it, you'll understand that it's really not a continuation, but next in line chronologically in terms of these Mass Effect games being developed, Mass Effect Andromeda is next. Definitely not the next best thing. So, people are just wanting to just fill in that gap because now, Andromeda didn't do so well right in the past for a lot of people, but Legendary Edition, I think I would think that it did well for a lot of people, new and old gamers coming back to play this, and it's simple. We just want more. We're just filling in the gap, filling in the time on waiting for the next Mass Effect game, show, movie, whatever, right? Books, doesn't matter. And a lot of people, maybe some veterans are going back to give Andromeda a shot. Heck, to be honest, I was kind of curious to go back and play Andromeda. I only beat it once, and that was good enough for me because it does take a long time to beat. Granted, it's an open world game, so you really choose how long you want to spend in these games. But hey, first time around, I try to do as much as I can without getting bored, right? Then the second time, third time playthrough, you're just like, oh, okay. I kind of know how to trim the fat, how to not be so bored, and we're just going to go from there. So, with that said, what are people saying about Mass Effect Andromeda nowadays, now that the Mass Effect Legendary Edition has released? So let's look down here at a couple comments of what people are saying. Just finished Andromeda after playing the trilogy, and I have to say, while the trilogy is better, much better, the first few hours of Andromeda wasn't really getting me hooked, but the more I played it, I enjoyed it, and by the end of it, I was actually keen on seeing what's next. Yes, you want to see what's next because the game doesn't really explain half the things that go on. Like the remnant technology, the cat, why are they really even there? I mean, yeah, remnant technology, but what makes the remnant technology so important? What's the origins of all this, and that? Who's the mysterious benefactor? I can't tell you how many videos I've done on Andromeda, guys. So on and so forth. A lot of plot holes, of course. Gosh, someone actually says it pretty well. Let's go to the next one. It's not perfect. No game is. I'm glad we have these people stating the obvious when that's not even really a good thing to say about any game, honestly. You're just admitting that the game's flawed in some way to begin with. But what do I know? But the one thing I absolutely loved was the exploration. It was okay. Some of the planets in Andromeda were simply beautiful. That I will admit. The story as a whole, I think, is pretty cool. Just the writing isn't the best. Well, let's just be honest, guys. Coming from a writer myself, if the writing is not good, I don't give two shits about the story. I think that's fair to say. You know, that's like comparing... Andromeda's like The Last Jedi Star Wars, right? Sure, the planets were nice looking. Maybe the characters had some kind of neat aesthetic design to them. Except everything else was just complete garbage, like the writing, which taps into mainly the story. And I would say that's a fair equivalent for me, because I did not like either of those stories in The Last Jedi and Andromeda. So just to give you, a kind of a prime example of that. Just a prime example. This is by Blaze of Glory 72. I know I should be reading the comments on who's saying it, but you can kind of see in the cutout here. I tend to describe Andromeda as aggressively average. Yes, I agree with that. It's a decently fun game with no obnoxious flaws. It does have obnoxious flaws. It's called scanning everything in sight, but it doesn't really do anything noteworthy either. I didn't regret my time playing it, but I really have no desire to ever pick it up again. That should be an obnoxious flaw. No replay value. That's an obnoxious flaw with me, because some people spend $60 on these games and they only play it once. And then once every blue moon. Like me sometimes. So, yeah, it is a okay game, and it has plenty of obnoxious flaws, like characters you don't care about, scanning everything in sight, AI not even that great in terms of just going out exploring in the world. They're very scripted. There's no procedural things going on in Mass Effect Andromeda like you would see in Breath of the Wild or Red Dead Redemption 2 or even Skyrim. But hey, don't take my word for it. So guys, my personal opinion on this and how I feel about Mass Effect Andromeda after playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition, let's just say that there's some part of me that does want to play it, as I mentioned before, just on the more curiosity kill the cat side of things, if that makes sense. If not, it's okay. None of the stuff I say makes sense anyway. I just sit here all day. But if you're jonesing for more Mass Effect, just keep playing the original trilogy. There's so much replay value to those games. For one, it's not an open world game, so the game's length is going to be cut down by quite a bit. Because open world games, on average, the story tends to be at average 50 to 60 hours, like Red Dead Redemption 2 style. Shoot, some of you may finish it even longer, but for me, it took me roughly around 50-something hours. The original trilogy Mass Effect games, they're more linear based. There's quite a bit of planet exploration, but it definitely does not take you 20 hours to go around in your Mako car, okay, or just Firewalker. It doesn't matter. It's pretty cut and dry, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're really cut for time, I wouldn't play Andromeda unless you know properly how to trim all the fat and the useless stuff that goes on in that game, which quite a bit does happen. That's pretty useless. Now with Mass Effect Trilogy, of course, 1 through 3, you don't have to worry about that replay value. Multiple playthroughs, different endings, romances, bunch of awesome dialogues that you miss from characters you really do enjoy hearing them speak, whatever they say or have to do. You just want to hear them keep talking. And a lot of people love Commander Shepard as a protagonist, and the writers just don't hold much merit to anything in terms of story. Very uninteresting characters. You could say that about a lot of the characters in Andromeda. There's only a couple I liked. I liked Vitra and Drac, the old Krogan. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. But I digress here. So folks, I just want to let you know that people are trying Mass Effect Andromeda because that's how much we're jonesing for another Mass Effect game. Let me know if you guys down below, if you want to. Otherwise, just comment on whatever you decide or deem fit on Mass Effect Andromeda. Are you guys playing it again because you got through the trilogy of Mass Effect 1 through 3? Or are you just saying, no way, Jose, I would rather just wait until the next one comes out, or just watch paint dry on the wall? Or if you want to take the safe bet, you just keep playing the original trilogy, because deep down it is far more superior in every way. Anyway, folks, I've been your host, Nico the Legend, also known as the well-mannered teenager, the snowflake, the rambling idiot, and Vigil. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Not really. Just kidding. Not really. Maybe? I don't know. Miranda's butt's still on my mind.
I just want to die.